What is up? What is up? What is up, everybody? It is JT Best Ball. Like we talked about, I'm not going to waste your time. We got a very special guest tonight. Go ahead and bring him in right now. Man needs no introduction. Y'all all know who he is. If for some reason you're not subbed to his channel, the link is in the description. BBG, Best Ball guy. How we doing tonight?
I'm doing great, JT. Thanks for having me, man. I'm excited, as always. Anytime I get to draft, I get excited. So
I'm going to go ahead and flip it over here. If you're good with it, I'm going to do a 30-second one just because
I think that's way better.
still,
Yeah.
I'm still getting kind of used to the streaming thing too, and especially me. I know I'm the no badge old school DraftKings guy trying to get acclimated in here in the underdog world. But we're
Oh, yeah,
making it.
dude.
We know what we're doing. We just don't have a badge yet.
Oh, it's all good. If you've been drafting over at DraftKings for a while, you got your takes. You know what you're talking about. I believe in you. How long you been?
Who?
I need to learn a little bit about the JT Best Ball. Obviously, the YouTube channel is super new, but you've been playing DraftKings for how long, would you say?
The last 2 years is when I was going heavy in it. 3 years ago was the first time that I ever really got into best ball. Didn't really know what I was doing. Started listening to a whole lot of the main guys, Pete and Davis and Chip
Hmm.
Chasing and all those channels. Just trying to learn. I had a lot of ideas of how to put teams together from the DFS world because I played DFS for years before I even got into best ball. But yeah, 2 years ago on DraftKings, since I played DFS over there, I just started with their tournaments. And first year that I went all in, or pretty all in, made the finals. I like to say I had shitty luck. It was the game that got canceled. I made the finals with
Oh,
Jamar Chase, and I even had Dawson Knox on the team. And we had no game week
I've
17 that
I've
year,
never
but hey,
talked
I
to
still
anyone
got
who
it.
had that had that happen to them, man. And honestly, that is seriously like something that would I had never heard the other side of that. I've never actually talked to someone who had that game stacked and they're in the finals with like a potential to win some money there. And like
And
what is
I
that
don't know
like
how
to
much I
say
would have. It sucked.
yeah,
It stuck with me all
man.
summer. There
Dude,
was
I
like three
bet.
days
Yeah.
that was horrible because remember for like 2 or 3 days they didn't know what they were gonna do with the game. They were
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
like
totally.
deciding, and I was just
Man.
every morning waking up looking at my phone. Are they gonna play it today?
Dude, that is crazy. Yeah, you're not wrong. Man, that is so tough because I heard the other side of it, of course, because obviously Pat Carrain won it. He was sweating out other people coming for him while he was in first place for Best Ball Mania.
Yeah, I
And
remember.
dude, I mean, that was one of my big moments. Like, I had like watched Ship Chasing a little bit that year, but I remember just going on YouTube, not even anything, but the first video title I see is a live video from Ship Chasing. And it says, Pat Carrain is in first in BBM for $2 million. And they were going to stream the Monday night game and watch it together to see if Pat could hold off anyone. And they were like going over the teams behind him. And some guy needed like, 60 points, but he had Chase and Gabe Davis, and then some other guy needed 85, and he had Burrow, Higgins, and Chase or something. I was like, holy shit, this is going to be like the greatest stream I've ever watched. I mean, what a sweat. And then that took place, and congratulations, Pat. But dude, yeah, I didn't even really, I have not talked to anyone who might have like got the other side of that. And that is bad luck, man. I am sorry for
It
anyone. Like,
sucked.
there's not, yeah, that
We're
is
gonna get back
awful.
there one day, and hopefully, my best player on my team will actually play a game when it happens.
Oh, oh man.
Catch up
Well,
on some of these chats real quick.
sure.
What's up, Who? Jason, thanks for stopping in. Hartman, real good friend of the stream. Mark's been on about every one of my streams. Appreciate your loyalty. I have a badge. I hit buttons. You're good. We all do, and we're all gonna lose anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Been
A lot of
enjoying the
lot of
DK
ways to get the
contest.
badge, that's for sure. No biggie there. You can do pick'ems and get the badge, so doesn't even have to be
Oh yeah,
drafts. Or
you,
dailies. You could max enter a NBA contest 3 slates in a row and then get a badge. So
I might have to start messing with some of the dailies. You gotta know what you're good at, right? When pick'ems first kind of became a thing, I dabbled with them a little bit. That's actually when I first opened an underdog account was
mhm.
to try those out a little bit. But I don't know. I sucked at them. I always seem to be one player off of hitting.
Dude. I'm famously, I just put in two more tonight. I took like almost 4 days off. I was betting a ton during like the early Stanley Cup stuff, and I was hitting pretty good. And I'm on a straight up, I think 0 for 13 streak right now, and it's been bad, man. I'm down 12 of those. They're always $20 bets. I usually do a 3-leg $20. The last one I did, I went for the straight up the worst thing you can do in gambling, the chasing my losses, and I put $100 down and lost. So now
Oh yeah,
we're probably
30
400 in the
second.
hole at this point, but
Who? It's a 30-second BBM if you want to hop in.
get in here, Who Hames. Come on. Shout out Who Hames, by the way. I think I'm coming on Who Hames channel on Monday, so that'll be fun.
Nice, nice. I'll be
Yeah.
sure to try to catch that. Who Hames, I always joke with him. He's my savior because he comes on right at 4 o'clock, and generally I'm like, I got three daughters, all middle school age
Hmm.
ish. One's going to high school, and I'm generally driving them around somewhere after school to some sort of practice, and they're wanting to play their Taylor Swift and all that. So I throw my earbuds in and
Get the
kick
Who
Who
Hames.
Hames on and
Hell yeah.
listen to him while I'm driving.
I love that. I love that. Hell yeah, man. Yeah, no, I saw in the bio here. I love this. It was let me pull it back up. But it was like, yeah, father of four. Hold on, let me pull it up. I lost it, but there it is. Stock trader, husband, father of four, YouTube creator. Let's go. Let's go, JT. You're the man.
That's
What
me.
stocks you trading? You day trading?
No, no, no. I don't day trade, man. I just come in and out of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So the way it all started was my wife has a pretty freaking demanding career, and she makes pretty dang good money with it. She's a pediatrician actually, and so whenever we got to like the third kid, I didn't have like a college degree or anything at the time. I
Mm-hmm.
was like a manager at like a rent a center. And once we got to the third kid, it's like, damn, we're paying so much money for babysitting just for me to go to
Yeah,
work
dude.
to almost
Totally.
give my check to babysitting.
God
So it
damn.
was
Yeah.
like we decided that I would just stay home, but then like I wanted to figure out something to do, to help make money or at least
Totally.
grow our
Yeah.
money
Yeah.
or whatever. So I just took about a year to really kind of like teach myself about it, things to look for. And like anybody does, watched a bunch of YouTube to learn different little tricks and things to look for and all
Absolutely.
that good stuff. And
Absolutely. No, I like you. That's exactly kind of how I like to live my life, right? When life gives you lemons, you got to make lemonade in a way. Not saying that, of course, having daughters is lemons, but like I just think to like I had this ACL knee surgery and I didn't know shit about golf, but I knew I kept getting word that the Albatross was going to like overlay the underdog contest, the big PGA contest on underdog.
yeah.
And I spent a week looking over ranks. I paid for two different ranks, and then I did my research on which guys do the best at these contests and like how did the winner win last year and all this stuff. And then I just went for it. I sent 50 albatrosses out of a 150 max, and then $150 one. And currently we have six albatrosses left going in the semifinals, and my $150 silver bullet is still making it. So
Nice.
but I like that. Yeah. Like when you got nothing to do or not nothing to do, but when you got, when you got to make something happen, make it happen, right? Do your research, read, and that's good stuff. I
Mm-hmm.
like that a lot. Yeah.
Real quick, I see who Hames is here, Hartman's here. Some of y'all jump on in this so we can get it filled. My man needs to get his leg up, elevated, and rested before his stream tonight.
Yeah.
So
I
y'all go
appreciate
ahead
that.
and
No,
hop in here.
no rush. I'm excited to like hear your player takes though, JT. Do you have like a like how you been drafting this year? Do you notice like how you're draft like structure
You
wise? You
know, I'm
taking what are you doing?
I try to mix it up really, but I would say like my ideal build in a regular style tournament. Sometimes I'll go the true zero RB, but I kind of too like the more hero RB. Get one, load up on those receivers, then kind of just hit the running backs up more later. Still trying to tweak my strategy, because on DraftKings, I was not drafting any of the elite QBs. I've talked about it before on my streams. That just I feel like the scoring for QBs on DraftKings isn't as important. It doesn't make up as big a percent of your total score as the QBs on Underdog do. And so, like on DraftKings Plus, I felt like their prices over the summer wasn't going to get any more expensive. If anything, they were only going to get cheaper. So, like, I had been just like totally fading all the elite QBs and building a bunch of three QB teams, starting, with that pocket around Kyler or whatever, and then just hitting three of those guys up in there or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, I'd say one of my biggest, I was actually going to ask you how you felt on it, but one of my biggest, I guess, takes so far this year is I haven't drafted him but once or twice until he falls more to like the mid second round, but I am out on Bowers at where his price goes. Not because I
Okay.
don't think Bowers is a really good player.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just where he goes right there, you're going to have so many of the same combinations with them. And so, kind of my counter to that is I've been
Hmm.
taking the receiver or the running back in that early part of round two. But then, like, I purposely like to try to get like Kittle or Hawkinson on a lot of those teams because I feel like
Yeah.
if I get to the playoffs, in a playoff pod where maybe there's three or four teams that are Bowers teams, all right, at least I have a Kittles that I took later or a Hawkinson that I took even later than that, who,
Hmm.
hey, on a one game situation, they are capable of matching a Bowers production.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. Those guys are capable of matching. The Kittle argument's interesting, right? If you're going to argue Kittle, and then that makes a good amount of sense to me. However, I would just be concerned with a Bowers fade for a couple of reasons. One, this is a guy who last year was third in total. Everyone in the entire league, he was third in receptions, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's crazy to get from your tight end position. You are like automatically winning that position on a week to week basis. And then you factor that into what he could do in the playoffs and all that stuff. But on top of that, I will throw in, I've been kind of saying this on my channel a little bit, but I've been much more comfortable kind of having like an even percentage of Bowers and McBride right now because of how cheap the late tight ends are. But I will say we had a big shakeup this week with OTA reports. With Jonnu potentially getting traded, that
Yeah.
throws off Jonnu and Fryermuth. So there's goes two tight ends that people don't feel good about. Pitts has a foot
Mm-hmm.
injury and he's been bad. There goes Pitts as far as like I'm concerned. And then you have negative reports about Kincaid as well. So there goes Kincaid. And now it's like, okay, we had all these super comfy tight end picks that we thought were really comfy, but now there's going to be actually select guys that are looking better than others, and they will move up the board slowly. And as they move up, that means that Bowers becomes even better as a pick because he could just straight up lap the field in fantasy points at tight end. He
Mm-hmm.
totally could.
And I don't totally fade him. So, like, kind of right here where we're at this eight spot,
Yeah.
that's about where I'll start to take him. If he's
Hmm.
here, or like if I'm in the seven or six spot, then I'll definitely click him
Yeah.
when he falls there.
My
I
line
just,
is after
especially
Drake
right here.
London. That's my
Okay,
line.
okay.
Yeah, I think before AJ Brown, after Drake London, that's my Bowers line. I look at Drake London as a first round wide receiver, and McCaffrey and Genty are both first round picks at this point. So it's like he in my ranks, I guess he would be like 14th right now, and
Okay.
very very firmly there. I don't want to even play around with too much AJ Brown or Devon Achan or anything. But yeah, he could fall to us in this draft, and that would be awesome. But I don't blame people for wanting to be out on tight ends because it hasn't worked in years past. But at the same time, this guy is a complete outlier, and I'll say that much. But the Kittle argument is strong because even let's make this pick. I'm
I'm good
Puka.
with Puka or Neighbors here, whatever
I'm
you like.
100% Puka over Neighbors.
Okay. I try to split them myself, but so I'm good with either one.
Yeah, Neighbors super talented, but the Rams offense is just so much more top tier to me. And then I forgot what show I was watching, but they pulled up the yards per route run on Puka, and he was like a yard and a half over the number 2 on the season last year. Also, I don't know many players that went on IR to start the season and then they come back the way he came back. Usually it's like, oh, that didn't really work out. It was like, no, Puka came back immediately 15 targets back to the clear
Yeah, that
dominant
was
number
kind
1.
of. No,
He's
I'm
never
definitely
played
in
a
on him.
game where he doesn't get double-digit targets. Like, he is the alpha number 1 on a good offense. It is so clear-cut to me. I still
Yeah.
love Adams, too. Like, I'm good with Adams as well. So,
And let me ask you on the Bauer. So I guess one thing that kind of makes me lean the take that I have is like
Hmm.
I totally realize what he did last year, but I'm also just wondering with Genty there, does that take just a little bit
No,
away from him to
no,
where he's not the
because the
ultimate
upgrade.
smash?
No, because the upgrade at quarterback and offensive coordinator is just too much. You go from Luke Kuechly and Gardner Minshew into Chip Kelly's super high paced offense with Geno Smith, who is like the ultimate underneath thrower. I I would not be surprised. Surprised is a bad word, but I would not be shocked if Bowers straight up led the NFL in targets. Is that the craziest thing ever said on podcast? Maybe. I don't know. But I like if
I
he
can
had
see it.
175 targets, I would not be surprised. I think he literally treat him like the wide receiver one on what we expect to be as a developing offense, but he gets to hit your tight end position. That is such a huge advantage. You can make
I,
up wide receiver points later. But I will say the
I
Kittle
definitely think
argument's
you're
strong because
convincing
if
me
he
that I need to take more of him.
yeah, well, he could lap.
So here he is.
Yeah,
So we're going
please,
Bowers
please.
definitely
Yes,
then.
this is such a big tier. I mean, and I also think that what I just said about the tight ends we're not as comfortable with because everyone right now is super comfy with fading tight end. Do you notice that? That is like the number
Mm-hmm.
one thing in the community right now is fading tight end. I guarantee as there's more Pitts FUD, Kincaid injury FUD, like there's all kinds of injuries to the tight end position. You got trade rumors with a couple other ones that the elites are going to become even more valuable because all the guys that are quote unquote safe are just slowly going to rise because when there's not a ton of options down low, like, oh, I could go Goddard or Kincaid, I don't care. Or I could go Fryermuth or Ertz, I don't care. But when there becomes a clear cut one over the other, the rest of the tight ends are going to slowly rise up. So we might be a little early on this right now. But I think with that happening, that Bowers is slowly going to trickle back towards the 1-2 turn because people are going to realize the advantage of that. And also, he literally had more yards, catches than Lad McConkey last year. Like, and Lad was playing with Justin Herbert with no competition, you know, and he was better than Lad at
Yeah.
the same college. Like to
I,
take
I do
Lad
need
at,
to take more of him. You're
he's
right.
an absolute dominant tight end. But once again, back to like the Kittle argument, I totally get it. So what I have been doing, if I do pass on Bowers, is I'll pull Kittle up to the beginning of the fourth, honestly, because you
Mm-hmm.
have to kind of make that choice. I don't know. I just think the ceiling is far too high with that Chip Kelly offense. But yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
that's my ultimate argument. And if you
Catch up
talk to
on
anyone
some
who
of the
watched my
others.
stream last year, Hames and Hartman remember this, but I don't have like super strong player takes, but I literally went on like a 10-minute rant about why everyone is so wrong about Bowers. So anyway,
Bowers 6 and talk. Now last year I smashed Bowers. Last year where he was going, I
right.
I drafted him as much as I could.
Yeah.
The late round guys will start to rise, which also makes Bowers, Trey, and Kittle better.
Yeah.
Bowers' rant was legendary. Now
It
I will
was.
say in the eliminators that I've been drafting, I do take a whole lot more Bowers there because I really like to just take Bowers and then just not even worry about tight end again till the very end. I'll tack on one more somewhere, in
Yeah.
those last couple rounds.
Hmm. And I will say, like, cool people there getting Trey McBride in the third. If we had the option to do that, then yes, I would take Trey McBride in the third over Bowers in the second. But it's just not simply an option from this side of the board. And so I do like that more because I think McBride almost had the same amount of targets as Bowers. I also like the Cardinals offense quite a bit. And so, but they're kind of hard to compare because they go at two different sides of the board. You got to play the position that you're in. So, but this is interesting. Curious to see what you're thinking here.
I would probably lean Rice. I am not a big JSN guy because I don't think Sam Darnold is good, and he doesn't have Justin Jefferson, and he's not throwing in a dome anymore. You
Okay,
good with
thank God.
Rice, or is there another
Yes,
pick
no,
you like?
100%. I take Rice in the second round sometimes.
I'm
That's a
not quite that
crazy
high on
fall.
him, but I do like him where he's at right here for sure. And I'm not the biggest JSN guy.
Yeah, with the wide receivers in the third round, I think. I mean, I don't want to have like a strong ranking on this, but like out of the ones that went in this draft, I'd probably be Marvin Harrison, Rice, maybe Tyreek Adams, then McLaurin. I don't know. Like I'm not stoked on JSN. The running backs are kind of they're good, but they're kind of middling. I don't know. I like Brees Hall a lot. He used to fall to the middle of the fourth, but he doesn't anymore. But yeah, I don't know. I really like this start. I think we got a good team going here.
Me too. Yeah, if I try to get, my fair share of the Gibbs, McCaffreys, Achan. I like all of those guys. Now, once we get past, sometimes I'll take Jacobs, but once we get past him, I do tend to pass on like the Browns or the Kyrens, and that's generally when I'll go more of a zero RB team versus the anchor RB.
Yeah, there's only one running back in the fourth, besides Brees. He already went, but there's only one running back in the fourth that I get really interested in. But it's team specific. We already have a non-wide receiver position. If we had started 3 wide receivers, I might advocate for him a little bit more. But I think this pick is pretty flexible to kind of go whether you want to go elite quarterback or another wide receiver. But the running back that I'm talking about is Omarion Hampton. I think that there's a very clear world where the running back one who was drafted 22nd overall or whatever, 21st overall in the Chargers with Jim Harbaugh, Greg Roman offense is probably one of the best picks on the board, who also might be a first round pick next year. So I do wonder about that. Like as a 4th round pick, that's very exciting over like wide receiver 2s and stuff like that. But at the same time, there's fun options here. So let me know what you're thinking.
I would say if it was me, I would go either. I'm a big Hampton guy too, so I would say either Hampton or Tet. I'm also a big Tet guy.
All right. So yeah, let's just think through it. Tet is interesting because Kenneth Walker might come back if you want a running back in the 5th round as a nice Week 17 bring back. Hampton is just a nice anchor, but I kind of like the running backs that come back to us in the 5th potentially. Let's go Tet. Yeah. I got pretty sold on Tet. I had Steve from Fanspeak on, Steve Shout. Shout out if you're listening or whatever, but just Tet is so obviously like a touchdown guy, and this is a half PPR format. So the funny part is about the Tet argument that I hear from most people is how he's the clear cut one, like he's going to get 150 targets. It's like, that's cool and all, but at the same time, like the reason I really like him is because he's 6'3", 6'4", or whatever, big dude. Like that's the touchdown guy when they get close to the end zone or whatever. So
I think I'm a little combination of both. Like definitely the size and touchdowns, but their defense is bad, and they're gonna have to throw the ball a lot to play from behind and catch up in games and stuff. And so, yeah, if he's good, I think he'll be a really good pick. Time will tell if he's good or not, but I think he'll definitely get all the targets that he can handle.
Well, how do you feel about Bryce?
If he plays like he did last year, I'm hopeful. I have been in on Carolina this year just because I feel like that what I just said, that their defense is going to not be that good. The whole division really is kind of like a division of not that good of defenses that could turn into a lot of big shootouts.
Shout out JT. If anyone who's watched all year, literally all year since the big board, before he even knew the schedule, I was like, dude, I'm stacking the NFC South. They all play in domes or good weather, and they have all terrible defenses. So
I'm trying, I'm trying.
Dude, I can't. Like, I really can't. I have such a hard time. I'll do it on a Tet team, but seriously, I will not grab Bryce Young and stack him with Coker or Thielen. Like, I think that is such a dead play.
Well, see, I don't draft much Coker or Thielen, but I actually think Tet kind of helps out too Leggett. I'm still in on Leggett at his price. Okay. And, I just feel like I could see a world where if Bryce takes the next step, he's with the good play caller, right? We liked him when he was at Tampa Bay calling plays. Towards the end of the year, Bryce has some good games and all. And, like, if Tet really can be the number one and take that pressure off Leggett, I could see them letting Leggett just kind of be big and fast like he is. And I don't think he'll be a consistent guy who'll hit your lineup every week, but I could definitely see some really good spike weeks out of him, which at where he goes in the draft is kind of what you're looking for.
That's fair. I've been I've been out on Leggett mainly. So here's the thing: is like Huhaim's giving me shit right now about like being Bryce Young pilled. I tried to get into Bryce because I love Tet. I think he's gonna be great in the NFL. So I was like, but I've been out on Bryce. So I was like, okay, I need to go watch Bryce Young, week 10 through the finish of the season or whatever to try to like reinvigorate that stoke on Bryce. The only thing I really came away with was that Leggett is not good. The ball is bouncing off his chest. He can't catch it with his hands. He looks like a Quentin Johnston out there. And then
no.
Jalen Coker looked incredible. I mean, he was snatching the ball out of the air like a Mike Evans. Like he was, but at the same time, all right, let's make this pick.
You want to go with Walker like we talked about? I'm in on Walker. I talked about him.
Unless
on
you
one
like
of my
Chuba
streams.
more for the double Carolina, but I love Walker, man. He's the
I like
perfect
Walker
best ball
over
pick to
Chuba.
me. Yeah,
Well,
Chuba needs a specific game script, whereas Kenneth Walker can either be winning a game or losing a game and still hit a 60-yard touchdown and like win you a week.
I forget the guy's name now, but the guy that was the Seattle OC 2 years ago. So I went back and watched a lot of 2023 film about a month or so ago on Seattle because I remembered whoever that OC was. I can't think of his name right now, but he came from kind of like he came like
was it McDaniels? Was it
no, it was I want to say maybe even Waldron, maybe. I don't
know. It was Waldron. It was Waldron. Yeah.
He came from that, Shanny Kubiak system. And like me, I'm a Texan fan, been that all my life. So like I'm very familiar with the Kubiak system from Kubiak, the real Kubiak, back in the day. And
right.
Man, like I saw some stuff in the 2003 film of them running like that zone scheme. And it's like he was so fast getting to the edge that like you would see some big old holes open up right down the middle. And he had some really nice runs in 2023 where he started out to the right or the left and hit that foot and cut it straight up the middle.
Yeah.
So I definitely think he could have a big year in that new system this year.
I don't know if people remember, but there's a couple channels out there that do like rankings based on like how the season is going so far, like big channels like Ben Gretsch and Sean Siegel. They had Kenneth Walker ranked as the running back 1 after week 2 last year after watching him. Yeah, they were that because he went off. I mean, he literally scored 5 touchdowns the first 2 games and he broke off 2 60-yard touchdown runs. I mean, he was doing Saquon Barkley stuff out there and then got hurt.
All right, we're on the clock, and I'm pretty open here. You see anything you love here?
Not love, that's for sure. This is kind of where I just go, like, Connor is fine. He's probably undervalued for how productive he's been. Chris Olave is a great talent. Henderson has been kind of sketchy with the reporting. I'd probably be Olave, honestly.
I was about to say, let's go Olave, because if we get boxed out on quarterback, we could always do some gross shuck stuff.
I wouldn't do that, honestly.
I mean, like for a QB2 or something,
No, I know. I actually worry about Rattler just like being the guy and it not being Shuck. They don't owe Shuck anything. I also think they were not planning on Derek Carr retiring, and they could bring in a Kirk Cousins or something. But in general, Chris Olave is an insanely talented receiver. This is a guy that. And famously, I was taking over Saquon Barkley last year in the 2nd round, but for a reason, because Chris Olave is very good, very, very good. It's all concussion concern. You're getting like maybe he should probably be going closer to like Devonta Smith, but people are worried about concussions. But I never like he's practicing right now. So you know what that means? He doesn't have a concussion. Like he's playing football.
Exactly.
So that's all I care about.
And Waddle.
I can't control.
I feel the same way about Waddle. We were drafting those guys in the 2nd round last year, and now because both of them were banged up here, and it wasn't even nothing major, like MCLs, ACLs, stuff like that, concussions. Once you're good from that, hopefully you're good from that, unless you're Tua or something. But
yeah, I just think talent-wise, like the level of 24-year-old or he's not even 25, I don't think, but 24-year-old Chris Olave, like how good he is, like on every metric as far as separation and everything is such a good value compared to like guessing on a 30-year-old coming off a dislocated ankle, guessing on Fat Debo, Jacoby Myers is like the most like middling 6th-round pick I've ever seen, especially with all like you talked about Bowers being worrisome with the weapons they added. I can't draft Jacoby Myers at all, like with them bringing in Genty and
So are
stuff.
you Besh then? Because I can't draft Besh and
No,
everybody
I'm
loves
just
him.
going Bowers Genty, and if I do Geno,
That's fair.
yeah, I'll do so low key. Like sometimes I get box out of quarterback, like we all do. But Geno's one of my favorite late quarterbacks because I honestly think Geno's probably one of the most undervalued quarterbacks right now because of how fast paced that offense is going to be. And also Geno's rushing baseline on seasons he started is like 256 yards or something. So people don't even like really consider the fact that he ran as much as Bryce Young his rookie season and sophomore season. So you get all of that with the weapons and the fast paced offense where I think
Mm-hmm.
Geno could just put together nothing crazy, but like just a standard, like, you know, like a good year, like a Justin Herbert, like 30 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 300 on the ground, and finishes the quarterback 11 or whatever. But he goes at like the quarterback 25. And I'll just throw like a Trey Tucker or a Deontay Thornton kind of thing. That's
Hey,
that's super last case scenario if I have
yeah,
to. That
yeah,
is not
yeah. That
ideal,
makes
but
sense.
yeah.
Well, hey, if we get to the point we need it, I mean, we have Bowers, so
E-
something like that
ex-
would make sense.
Seriously, every time I have Bowers, I almost think about how I want to push quarterbacks because I believe in Geno out. Geno is definitely not the quarterback 25 if he plays the whole season. I'll say that much. In that offense, there's no way.
Well,
Um,
and then that's one thing about him. Unless he gets hurt, I mean, nobody's taking his job there, so he's pretty safe from that aspect.
yeah, they extended him. There's no risk at all of him losing his job. He's the cheapest one of the guaranteed jobs. Right after him goes Sam Darnold, which is not a guaranteed job. So
No, I think Sam Darnold will be benched on their
I
bye
know I
week.
saw
That's been
your
my take all year. I like Judkins a lot here. You want to grab him
definitely.
for a running back too, or you see someone else you like?
No, I don't want to name any names in case they come back. No,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I like Judkins. Yeah, let's go Judkins.
I just feel like we don't know who Cleveland's quarterback's going to be. Their defense is still pretty good, and I think Judkins has more juice than what people give him, because of the role he played in Ohio State. But when you watch his tape, he's got a little juice to him.
He's definitely got juice, and also Kevin Stefanski's got a really good run scheme. We saw it over the last 5-6 seasons. Like they have a good run scheme. They do, and Judkins, especially if Flacco's the quarterback, people want to say, "Oh, he's not catching passes." Well, guess what? Judkins is going to break out wide, and Flacco's going to throw it to him. He's just going to
Yeah.
have to. Whether people want to say he can catch the ball or not, it doesn't matter. Like Flacco will have to check it down to this guy so he doesn't get, a guy
And I mean,
sacking him like it happens.
I've
Yeah,
seen on tape him catching the ball a few times. It's just they also had Henderson there at
true.
Ohio State, and so
Yeah,
anytime they wanted to go to a true passing situation, of course you're going to put that guy in there because not that Judkins can't catch balls, but that's kind of one of Henderson's specialties.
totally. And then here's the other thing is like this running back class was supposed to be generational, and then I don't know, this guy goes to an empty backfield and now people aren't excited about it. Like, what are we doing? That's kind of my thing is like, this guy's pick 80. We don't even know how good this guy is yet. Like, what if this guy is the next Nick Chubb or the next James Conner or some big back who's a full on bell cow who gets 300 carries this season? I mean, the Browns don't have anything to lose. They drafted him at the 203 or 202. Like, they're super invested into him. Jerome Ford is a nothing to me. I mean, I think Judkins is not only starting the entire year, but we don't even know how good he is yet. Granted, of course, he could be bad. Cleveland could suck, but at the same time, what if they don't? What if Flacco's moving the ball decently and Judkins is actually way better than you expected? I could totally. Mooney is a smash.
Yeah, I was just about to say the only guy that I really somewhat like here
This
is
is a guy
Mooney,
I was
but
going to argue Mooney over Judkins on the last pick, but I didn't
well,
even
we
want to
got
say
them
his
both.
name. So happy. This is amazing.
All right, real quick, I'm gonna catch up on the chat since we're on the long way around. Let me pull that down.
Yes, sir.
Don't want to forget about you guys watching the board. I think I left off right about here. Mark is loving the draft so far. I always thought Ken Walker passed the eye test, just strong runner. Connor got good coach speak again. BBG and JT collab. Very nice. I'm enjoying it. Thanks for coming on, BBG, and thanks for the comment. By
Oh,
the
of
way, if
course.
you guys are watching this and you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'm 2 away. I wanted my goal to be 50 by May. I don't stream on Saturdays, so
I'll
we got to
get
get
this
it
man to
today.
50. Come on.
50. Just two subs, right?
By the
Hit the
end of
like
May,
while you're
that's
at
all.
it.
Come on, boys. Let's go. Let's
We
go.
could do that, right?
Absolutely.
Jerome Ford can eat, Judkins can dominate. That's how I
Got
feel.
50. Who Hames
Got
confirmed. Let's
50.
go.
All right. Thank you, Who Hames. I knew you
Oh,
were
yeah.
already subscribed, though.
Dude, that Mooney when we got Puka in the first round is so sick. That's one of my favorite
Mhm.
Week 17 games. Is the
Exactly.
is Atlanta, and not to bring up sour times, but I love those Monday games. Like, because if you get there and you get to sweat it, I mean, granted, what happened to you was super tragic, but last year, anyone who had Lions Niners, man, that was the game of
Yeah,
your
no, it
life.
would be fun. I hope I can be in that situation again one day and the player actually plays.
Oh man, it happens. It happens. It's better than being at 11 a.m. Well, okay, so game started 10 a.m. my time minus the
Ooh.
Thursday games or whatever. I knew by 11 a.m. that neither of my finals teams were doing anything. It was sad. It's just like, man, we are so cooked.
What
I
does
think
that
we
make
had
the London games over there? Because, like, I know here they're like
6
9 in the
a.m.
morning.
Yeah, 6 a.m., man. Yeah, so your dynasty leagues and your dude. Oh man.
I know my wife always gets mad whenever the London games are on because we'll be getting breakfast and stuff for the kids, and I'm already kicking on the TV. She's like, "It's on now."
Dude, it's crazy. I know the NFL's trying to break up families, man. They're putting 3 games on Christmas and they're doing wild stuff, bro. Honestly. Oh man.
All right,
This is epic. So this is
start
where it becomes a
looking here.
really like luxury pick. I would scroll down to our wide receivers so we can see which quarterbacks we might need.
Yeah. Well,
I
I know
don't
you don't
know.
like him, but for me, Bryce is always an option.
Well, not here, but yeah.
No,
No,
no, no,
definitely.
no, not here. I'm just saying
No,
options.
Bryce with a Kenneth Walker is like very prudent for this team. Ideally, we get one of Penix, Stafford, and Bryce, and then our third
Mhm.
quarterback. I don't know. We kind of just maybe. Oh, Gino. We have 3
Geno's
late
an option
quarterbacks.
too.
I think for now we just grab our favorite skill position players. Honestly,
Yeah, 'cause we
unless
got
you
a
really
while
like
before we
Drake
even
May,
get to
he's a
them.
fun mobile threat, but I'm
Not
not.
with so many of our options still on the board. I do
I
like
love it.
Dre
No,
May.
me and you are in lockstep right now. This is a fun pick. There's a couple options that I like. We have Kenneth Walker and Judkins. I don't know. I might be. How do you feel about Scatterboo? Obviously, I've ranked at 106, so not great.
These are actually just ETR's rankings. I'll
Oh,
say
okay.
why I used them in a minute. I'd be okay with him, or I like Jalen Warren still. I click him still. He'll be involved. Scatterbo or Warren, you make the call.
Man, that's so hard. I'm gonna let's go Warren. Let's go Warren.
Yeah, if nothing else, I know
Because I
generally.
think one of the Giants guys might fall back to me. The reason I want Scatterboo or Tracy potentially is because of the Bowers thing. I'm kind of setting up this
Mhm.
week 17 with the Giants and the Dome. I kind of like.
Well, and generally you don't want running back, but that kind of gives us the Cleveland Pittsburgh
Well,
stack
this is
too.
kind of a gross range. Yeah. I mean, I don't like, we don't really want any of the quarterbacks. If there's a wide receiver wise, I would be like, it'd be like a guy who can spike week. It'd be one of the Keon Colemans, Rashid Shaheed, Rashad
Well,
Bateman. I could see any 3 of them.
and they went right before our pick, but I actually like Higgins from the Texans
Totally.
and
No, if
Harris from.
Harris or Higgins were there,
Mhm.
I was in. I have those guys ranked probably like 85th or so. Those guys are so cheap.
So I don't really do my own rankings, and the ones I'm subscribed to a couple of them, but the ones I normally leave on is ETRs, and I don't even really pay attention to them other than just I know over time the market
Yeah.
does tend to drift towards ETRs ranks because so many people use them. So I'll kind of use that, like if ETR is way under ADP on a guy, I'm like, all right, well I can wait a couple weeks to start drafting this guy because he's probably gonna fall closer back to the rank.
That is super sharp for anyone watching. That is super sharp to get ETR ranks because yeah, the market definitely tends to go toward because they're more of the median projection type of guys, and the market definitely
Hmm.
tends to go towards the median projection a little bit more. Okay, so we have Walker, Judkins, and Warren. Um, that's it. Running back,
Walker,
wide receiver
Judkins,
wise, we feel
Warrens.
pretty good, but I don't know. This is pretty open ended.
Still not to our quarterbacks really yet.
Tracy went, so both Giants guys went. I'd probably pivot to one of the spike week wide receivers or Tootin. I like as an upside dart, but
I like Rashid a lot.
totally, he's got great coach speak and he's been practicing in full, so he's fully out there. We have a double New Orleans. Is kind of
I was just
interesting.
about to say
Yeah.
we have him, so I know I know you're not a
No, no, no.
fan of him, but maybe Shuck as a third quarterback.
No, seriously. Well, here's the thing: is like I'm not like a no automatically on anyone. That's never a thing. The only person I have a straight zero on this year is Cooper Kupp. But the thing is, I mean, if he fell to the right place, I would take him. Like, quite frankly. But the thing is, we just committed to Olave and Shaheed, so it would seem very smart to me that we just think that the Saints overperform their expectations. And how do they do that? It would be Shuck being actually a decent NFL quarterback. So that entire bet, right? Because each team is just like a bet. Like that makes sense to me. Is like, oh, we have super underpriced Chris Olave, super underpriced Rashid Shaheed, and we stack it with the insanely underpriced quarterback, right? Like that is
an idea.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, ideally, we should be able to get him to kind of push a little bit too, with us having both of them.
Mm-hmm. No, exactly. Oh, I would be shocked if someone drafted him.
Sundays are TV, laptop, snacks, and my wife told me not to bother me. Pretty much. Warren is bring back Judkins. Yeah, that's what I was saying.
True.
running back, running back, bring back.
I do like Warren because there's so much continuity there. It's like it's still Tomlin. It's still the same Arthur Smith kind of thing going on. It's like Warren is definitely playing, right? Caleb Johnson is not probably not taking the entire role from Warren, or vice versa. Maybe the entire role is Warren. Warren's still a big dude that I believed in last year quite a bit, and he happened to get very unlucky and get hurt before the end of this or beginning of the season.
And like, are you high on Johnson? Because I'm not that high on him. I know he's a good fit for their system, but
yeah, I would say, well, I actually do have him overweight in my exposures right now, mainly because of the kind of the same thing with the Judkins argument. It's just like, we have no idea how good this guy is. You watch the college film. I thought he looked really good. He may not run the fastest 40, but he's also 227 pounds, and he has very fast, short area quickness. So if you put that guy in a Najee Harris role, and you give him 20 carries a game, he's, Najee Harris has never had a run over 36 yards. So I think Caleb Johnson can do better than that, basically, is it, but they have to give him the Najee work. And so that's where I run into a little conundrum in my head, because it's Jalen Warren's last year. Maybe they run him into the ground, but at bare minimum, they're definitely playing him quite a bit. He's the best pass protector on the team, and so on and so forth. So
what do you like here? This is kind of a tough spot.
Quarterback.
Not a whole lot.
I would take our quarterback stack for sure. I know there's no one like right here, but I kind of want to go quarterback and then another quarterback. To be honest,
which one you want?
Probably Penix with Mooney with Puka bring back. I don't know. What do you think? Or do you want to go May? Maybe we should just go May or running back. I don't know. Bateman. Maybe just pivot last second. I don't know. Go Bateman. Or May.
Let's go May. May's always fun.
I like that. I got pretty obsessed with getting our week 17 stacks.
I know we can get Penix a little later. I feel like too.
Yeah, so I'm more so worried about the next turn. Is my thing. It's like I don't want us to get completely boxed out to where we have one quarterback and we're looking at Sam Darnold or something like that. But like you said, we have Shuck, we have options. So I like getting May there. That's a good fall on a mobile quarterback. I'm actually really happy that we didn't take Penix, but.
And we could, later in the draft, we could always tack on Hunter as a second tight end to go with Bowers and just call the room a day, and then that gives us a little bit of stack with him.
Yeah, I wouldn't even worry about stacking May that much, honestly. I think it can almost be like a Jaden Daniels situation where he just brings a bunch of randoms along with him, and you don't even really know who to have in a way.
Yeah, no, and I'm okay with that too. I just figure, I guess, let me ask you, because the teams I do draft Bowers on,
Mhm.
generally that's what I do. I'll just take one other tight end somewhere down, in the
Oh yeah,
somewhere
no, no, no.
down in the
Yeah,
Fryermuth
I'll
Henry
swing for some
range.
big upside for sure, or just take one. Definitely, I'm not taking more than one. And I like to lean away from like the Cade Ottens or something. I like to go into like Terrence Ferguson or like let's try to hit the next Sam Laporta kind of thing. That's kind of how, or Isaiah Likely like is a really fun one.
Sorry
Um,
about that. I don't know. I mean, with Love and CJ still on the board, here's what I'm thinking. Because we still have Penix, we have Young, we have Stafford, Geno, all as options. I
yeah,
kind of would tend to rather take a guy like I like Benson, or I'm even okay with Spears. I do not like Blue because we only have
I don't
like
like
three
Blue.
running
I'm
backs so
definitely cool with
far.
Spears or Benson. I'd also throw Ray Davis in there as
Ray
someone
Davis, yeah, I like Ray
yeah,
Davis a
I,
lot
I
too.
would. I'd probably be Ray Davis over both those guys, to be honest with you.
Okay, that's fair enough. I like Ray Davis. We
He
never
just
know
he
what
just
what's.
proved that he's actually a good NFL running back. He got the ball for the entire game one time and he broke out. Benson never did shit. I love Benson. Trust me. Benson was actually like one of my highest drafted players last year, but at least Ray Davis, like when he got the ball, was really good. So
Mm-hmm.
that's bullish for me.
Yeah, and I don't think it'll be a thing. It'll get worked out, but there is a little bit of Cook wants the contract negotiation. Buffalo so far hasn't been willing to give it.
No,
I
I
don't
would
think it'll
expect
be
Cook to
nothing,
be
but
there. Yeah.
me too. I 100% expect him to be there. But crazier things have happened. We
But if he goes
expected.
down, at least I know Ray Davis is like good if he gets all the work. That's kind of my thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, definitely,
Whereas
definitely.
Benson to get like I don't know, you can click on his name. I think he got like 60 or 80 carries last year. He didn't have one run over like 10 yards, man. It was like,
No, no.
dude,
He was bad last year. He was
yeah,
definitely
it's
bad. But I
it's kind
liked
of
him as a
deflating.
prospect. And
Me too.
sometimes whenever a
Yeah.
guy was bad like that, I'm willing to give him, a second chance. Like I actually had a
Right.
decent amount of Tank Bigsby last year,
Yeah, yeah.
which kind of helped me on some teams. I didn't have any finals teams last year, but I had a good amount that made like the semifinals or whatever. But
I totally agree. I just think Benson might be a little overpriced because Ray Davis is the same thing. This is also a guy talent wise is very good. He's going into his second year. He's potentially on a better offense with the dude who's holding out right now. Like, whereas Connor is definitely the established running back one. However, Connor definitely more likely to get hurt than a James Cook. I'll say that much, 100%.
mhm.
But
But by the same token, I like the Davis pick because I think Connor also handles a generally a larger portion of the workload than
yeah,
Cook does. So we may even get, a usable week here and there out of Davis, even when Cook was on the field, just because Davis happened to be in there and get the 2 touchdowns or whatever.
very true. Yeah, James Cook was only playing like 50% of the snaps last year. Not like Ray Davis was playing the other 50, but still like that is something. Whereas James Conner was playing 85% of the snaps or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
So, which can also be more bullish for Trey Benson because that's just how the offense works. Whereas if Connor goes down, that might mean that Trey Benson gets 80% of the work. Whereas if James Cook goes down, maybe Ray Davis is only at a 50% clip or whatever. So there's two ways to think about that. But I just like that Ray Davis showed me last year that when I think maybe Ty Johnson was banged up and definitely James Cook was out for one game, they gave him 22 carries. He went for 100 yards on 20 carries on the ground and then another 50 through the air. It was like, okay, like I've
Yeah.
seen enough. That is very
No,
good
I
that you
agree.
can
I
do that.
agree. I like them both, and I generally tend to just go with the higher rated ADP guy because there's always a chance the other one will fall and come back to you. But
Yeah.
probably should just reach more and grab the guy I like. So now we
Yeah,
can do the Penix thing if you want because he's still on the
definitely.
board.
Definitely. If not, I think you go Bryce Stafford, one of the two.
I like
I
Bryce over Stafford just because he'll at least move a little bit.
definitely. Yeah, yeah. I'm in on that. I think ideally we get Penix. I think Penix low key has a little mobility that we don't even know about. But on top of
Uh
that,
huh.
the all the reports are that Penix looks like incredible at camp, and also there's some kind of like narrative right now about how the Falcons got 5 primetime games that the NFL knows that Penix is good as well. Like they know that the Falcons are going to be like a
Huh.
explosive offense, so they put him on primetime.
I
But
heard that. I did hear that.
yeah, it's kind of interesting.
All right, let's just
Okay,
go ahead and grab off. Plus, it works
uh,
better because Bryce has a week 14 bye, which then would kind of mess with
sweet.
May a little bit. So,
Yeah, I think this next pick, I'd be tempted by Algier if he fell, but besides that, I think it would be Bryce, Stafford, Gino, however you want to play it.
let's see. What do we?
Personally, I would go Gino over Bryce, but
Okay,
they
that's
rush
fair
almost
enough.
the same, and I just like Tet can still get there even if Bryce gets straight up bench for Dalton again. If anything, Dalton's probably good for Tet, so that's my only thing. But if you feel conviction over Bryce over Gino, then I'm totally fine with
No,
it.
no, no. That's the beauty of streaming with people. Is generally I am more Bryce over Gino, partly because I don't take a whole lot of Bowers. So this is definitely the team, being that it is a Bowers team, to go ahead and give me some more Gino.
Let's go, baby. I love it. I really do.
Gives us three quarterbacks that we like. We'll be done there. I think I asked you, but I don't remember your answer. Sorry. Are you kind of just a one more tight end with Bowers type guy?
Yeah, one more tight end for sure. So three, probably 3, 6, 7, 2, something like that. It's kind of what
Mm-hmm.
I'm picturing.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So funny, Harmon. Bryce getting benched, probably bullish for Tet. Yeah, it might be. That's the scary
Yeah.
part. Oh, there goes Gino. So now it looks like we're definitely going
Womp
Bryce.
womp.
Yeah, which is still fine. I'm down to bet on Bryce because everyone's been
Or
telling me he took the
I
jump.
mean, it is a third QB, so we
Oh,
can
the
do whatever you
shuck.
want. We could do
I
that,
would
or we can
go.
wait. We can wait a little bit if there's a running back or receiver that we like. Because, like, I know you said you like
Yeah,
Algier.
Algier.
I still like a little bit of Eckler because he plays at least. Algier
Okay.
has a whole lot of value, though, if Bijan goes down. I'm okay with either. We could do that. We could pick one of those. Bryce may come back to us since we
He
have
might.
Ted.
He
But
might.
worst case, we can always rely on Shuck. It's just our third quarterback.
I agree. Actually, I really like that. I think I would be Algier, and then if not, I would just go Bryce probably over Eckler. Eckler's more of like an escape route for me if I really punted off running back, but I kind of feel good about our running backs.
Or Braylon. You in on Braylon?
I do like Braylon, but at the same time,
Never
Algier is
mind.
the
Algier's there. We'll
Algier's
grab
the
him.
pick. Yeah, perfect. That's actually an incredible running back room.
Yeah, yeah. Now, see, Bryce may even come back to us with us
Totally.
having Ted.
Or Stafford. I'm still willing to do Stafford. Puka is not a
Yeah,
terrible
yeah, yeah,
option.
yeah. True, true, true.
Yeah.
I think I would rather have Stafford or Young. Well, never mind. There went
Bryce
Bryce.
goes. That's all right. That's fine.
But if Stafford does come back, we can take him with Puka. Let's see. Where is the Adams drafter at? He's there. He has Jalen and not another quarterback, so he could end up going there.
It's fine if
We'll
we don't
see.
get like you said. We're not too worried about losing Stafford. It's a very middling pick. It
And
could
it's
be
our third
interesting with a
quarterback. We have Drake May
yeah.
and Gino already.
I'm kind of down to go for like a last round Shuck thing if he's gonna just fall there. That's interesting with the double New Orleans that we have. Maybe a Tennessee bring back. Maybe we throw Chig as our second and last tight end. It's
That
not a
sounds
bad
good. I'm in
option.
on Chig this year as a late
Yeah,
tight end for sure.
definitely. We have 5
See if I
solid
can
running
catch
backs.
up
I
a
think
little
we
bit
need
over
one
here.
more, and then probably 2 more or 1 more wide receiver.
Might be over Benson. Interesting. Ray Davis is one of my highest exposures. Love him as an RB5 or 6. Bijan is the number one RB. I've been drafting. I've taken Bijan a couple times over Barkley this year. I cannot lie. Bryce getting benched probably bullish for
Me
Ted.
too. I'm literally fading Barkley for Bijan.
I'm not totally fading Barkley because I faded him last year and it killed me. So I feel like I'm gonna get a couple of him at least, but I will probably be under the 8% for sure. If I had to guess, I'll probably end up like 3 or 4% Barkley.
That's fair. That's fair.
I just can't totally fade him again. Last year, I think I literally was like 1%.
Got to be strong, JT. You got to do it, man. Just got to be strong. Just be brave. Be with us.
Oh, I am. Like I said, I definitely am a guy that will have my 30% of certain people and stuff like that.
Yeah, I Man, I'm gonna have a hard time. The guy who got 500 touches and like broke the NFL record for most 50-yard plus runs. Like, we're really betting on that to happen again. Like, dude, come on, I can't do that.
And that's exactly why anybody doesn't catch balls too.
I know,
Like
like, yeah, he has to break off 50-yard runs to get there. They didn't ban the tush, but like, dude, I can't do it. I'm taking Gibbs
so. Since
Bijan.
we're talking about that, my two favorite clicks here, I would
Shipley.
say let's. I was just about to say Shipley. Since we're talking about how much we're out on Barkley, Shipley's one of my favorite clicks on the board.
I like
And
it.
then we can just be done at running back.
I do like that. I will throw out that Braylon Allen does interest me. He's a bring back on our Drake May for week 17.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we were just talking about the whole
I'm
Barkley
okay
thing.
with either one of them. You make the call, Braylon or Shipley. Do the
I'm a
bring
Jets
back,
fan.
right?
Let's go Braylon. Let's go Braylon. And I'm gonna say that I just think that there's a couple outs that are still up in the air for Braylon. There are
Mm-hmm.
this is very unlikely, but Brees traded, right? This is the
Traded.
final
Mm-hmm.
year of his contract. If the team blows up and they just dip on Brees, Braylon's there. Also, Braylon was good in the beginning of the year, but keep in mind, Braylon was 20 years old last year. He is not even a full-grown man. This guy is literally still growing as a human being. So he's going to be 21 this year, and he was already productive in the NFL. I think as he matures, as his body grows and all that stuff, that he might actually be like a real NFL running back. So
Yeah.
there's something there for me. Whereas Shipley's totally cool. I will say I'm not like I'm 95% confident Shipley's the backup, but if it was AJ Dillon and it wasn't him, I wouldn't be like totally like I could not imagine that happening, right? Like I can see the Eagles just playing AJ Dillon if Saquon went down over Shipley. Whereas Braylon is definitely the backup in my mind. And I like the fact that he could grow as a player going in. Age 21 is so young. I mean, he's only going to get better, and he was already good. So I do like that.
All right.
And the bring back. So, but yeah, this is interesting as far as
We can go ahead and grab Henry as our second tight end, or you
Let's
want to
do it.
wait on Chig?
no, I like Henry a lot if we can get him as our second tight end. That's
We
a
got
great
May, so it kind of makes sense.
such a good pick. I love this, how this worked out. We got Drake May with Hunter Henry and a Braylon Allen bring back with the Jets
Mhm.
O-line. Like if Brees goes down or if he gets traded, whatever, like Braylon is such a smash, dude. He really is.
Mhm.
With the Jets O-line is going to be moving people. Elijah Vera Tucker, Fashanu, Membu. We are going to be moving people on the O-line this year. I don't know how our passing game is going to be. So they're going to stack the box against us, but at the same time, that O-line is going to be moving people. And
I was
Mason
waiting
Taylor
for a dead second. I gotta ask how, because I know I see you're surfing and stuff all the time. You're a California guy, right?
Yeah.
How's the Jets thing come about?
Basically, like no one in my family cares about football. So that's a start, right? So I'm just kind of an open book as far as like who I get to pick. And I had a PlayStation 1 and I was playing Madden 99. And I just picked the Jets, and I loved playing Curtis Martin because he had the craziest spin move in that game. Like the game was advanced enough where different guys had different spin moves, but Curtis Martin, when you hit the spin move, he would go like 4 yards laterally with his spin
I used to
move.
play all the football games. Back
Yeah.
in the day.
So it was just me. I would sim through seasons, just playing a bunch of Curtis Martin at running back, and that was about it, man. Yeah, and then I like since I didn't have anything to go off of was about it. I'm in a big baseball family, big Anaheim Angels,
Okay.
Los Angeles Lakers for basketball, stuff like that. So, but just
So
never.
what part of California you in?
I'm in like Central California, so that's the other hard part is like I'm like 4 hours south of where the Niners play, but I'm also 4 hours north of like where the Rams and Chargers play. So there's just nothing here. Like I live in yeah. I just live in where I live is basically a bunch of rolling hills, open ranches, and then a coastline basically. So
Okay.
none of my friends are on YouTube streaming and talk about football or stuff like that. They all go fishing and surfing and stuff. So I just really like this stuff. I got my mom and my mom and my mom's side of my family is all from the Midwest, and my mom's been a gamer since she was little. I mean, she was gaming on Pong. She is like the record at the local bowling alley playing the Pac-Man, right? Like
Oh
she's a
wow.
gamer. So I've been gaming since I was a little kid. So I just get really competitive with stuff. And so I almost look at this underdog stuff as like a game that I'm like a strategy game I'm trying to beat, you know. Grew up playing a lot of Catan, a lot of stuff like that. So I love these strategy games. So I think it's really fun. It's like an interactive strategy game.
So with this pick here, we could either go ahead and take Shuck for the
Yeah.
last QB in the double stack, or if there's any receivers that jump off to you
No,
here.
I would just lock up Shuck. I like
Yeah,
the
that's
fact that we made this New Orleans bet. And then
and
we're
there's
still
no
looking for maybe
receiver
that
that just
Tennessee bring back if you want to go Ellick or something like that. And we don't have to. Like if you have conviction about another receiver here that you like. But let's go Shuck first and then we can kind of talk about it. But I would be probably Ellick.
I don't normally draft him, but for late season bring back, sure, we can do
Well, what do
that.
we
I'll
need?
put him
Let's take a
on
look at
there.
our wide receiver room. Do we need early production or how we looking? Let's take a look.
I think we'll be okay. I mean, we got
Yeah.
Puka, Rice, Ted, Olave, Mooney, Shaheed.
Seems good. So yeah, you want a little upside late in the season. I think Ellick's interesting, but if you have another guy like Tutu is, I know we don't have Stafford or anything, but Tutu's going to be the wide receiver 3 on the Rams. I don't
I don't
know.
really, I'm
There's
not
not
gonna lie.
much.
Generally, I try to be done at receiver on most drafts before 18 because I hate all the receivers early in
Yeah, I
18.
agree. In May, this is kind of a gross time to be guessing on
Yeah,
receiver threes. I agree with that.
I
The only
try
thing
to
I'm going
almost
off of
always.
is the sharp people I know are in over Ellick, over Lockett, and DK Dyke or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all I'm going off of is the fact that like leg up, like Pat Kerrane, Shady Advice, Daniel Dvorak, are
Hey,
Elick as the wide receiver too. So
if nothing else, he's a bring back, and we don't know what the receiver room will look like
yeah,
come week 17. So sounds
right.
good to
But
me
if you want
unless
to do like a
somebody
Ray
grabs
Ray
him.
McLeod, like I don't know, that's like kind of a double Atlanta. He did get like 85 targets last year. I don't know.
Somebody was making a really good case. Wasn't it on your stream the other night that somebody was making a good case for him, or was that somebody else? I
I'm
watched the
down to go
video.
Ray. Like at this point, it's funny because we're worried about this bring back. At the same time, I almost want to just bet on a different offense than Tennessee. I kind of hate the Tennessee offense, so I don't mind Ray or Tutu for that matter. Like I am very confident Tutu is playing wide receiver for the Rams. Like I am like he is playing wide receiver 3 for the Rams, and that's a good offense. I'll say that much. I like that he will probably catch a 40-yard touchdown this year, but beyond that. I'm
Tutu
gonna
or
say
Ray Ray?
I'm gonna be 2-2. Actually, I'm gonna go 2-2.
Let's
I
go
think.
2-2.
Yeah, I'm gonna say because he got paid. He got a 3-year, $10 million deal. He's gonna be 100% active on game days because of him playing special teams. He's already getting positive coach speak,
And
and
we have Puka, so it's just more of a team correlation.
yeah, and let's just say Mooney goes for 150 week 17 versus Tutu and Puka who go off on the other side. Whatever, I don't know, but I
Sounds good
like
to
it.
me.
I like it. Let's go.
All right,
I think it's a good pick. Yeah.
recap the team. We ended up going with Drake May, Penix, and Shook as our 3 quarterbacks. Running back room is Kenneth Walker, Judkins, Warren, Davis, Algier, and Allen. Receiver room looks nice with Puka, Rice, Tet, Olave, Mooney, Rashid, and Tutu. And we have the man himself, Brock Bowers, and Hunter Henry as our second tight end. Think we did a pretty good job, BBG.
I don't think there's any problem with that team. I think we have a lot of fun things between the undervalued Saints potentially hitting, between some of my favorite Week 17 game stacks with Atlanta and Rams. We got my home team, right? We got some Jets on there with the New England bring back, so we got to go with that. But no, honestly, I think there was no pick that we made where I feel like we kind of forced it in there because we didn't know what to do. I actually think the whole draft was coordinated well and done really well, quite frankly.
Yeah, no, I think so too. Couldn't agree more. Gunnar Helm, but you don't need another tight end. I said something the other day. It was you that was saying something about it. I knew it was somebody. I talked to too many people. You got Ray Ray.
Yeah. Ray Ray. Come on. I mean, I don't know. I just think between Ray Ray and Tutu, I see what you're saying, and maybe it's like a more of a coin flip than I'm arguing for. But at the same time, we've seen Tutu get 40-yard touchdowns before. Ray Ray is kind of like a volume guy, but I wouldn't be surprised if some random dude they drafted takes the next leap. Like whether it's Casey Washington from last season or Kadero Hodge or just some random player. The Rams have no one besides Whittington, but he doesn't fit the. No one on the Rams plays the Tutu role except Tutu.
Mm-hmm.
I know for a
Yeah.
fact no one does. Like he is the deep threat. He is the Rashid Shaheed of the Rams, basically. Like he is the go deep guy. So
All right, man. Well, we'll let you get off here. I know you want to rest your leg a little bit. You said before you hop on yours. You said you're going to be drafting Superflex tonight.
Yes, sir. Superflex in 25 minutes with PPR Tyler, quote unquote expert. But no, thanks for having me on, JT. It's a lot of fun.
Appreciate it. I think I'm going to go ahead and shut my stream down too, but I'm going to try to get in some of those lobbies with you guys. So I'll be watching for it. We'll have some fun over there.
Hell yeah. Thanks for coming out, everybody.
Yeah, thanks, man. I think it turned out pretty good, guys. I'm going to go ahead and end this stream just after one draft. He's going to go on his here at 10 o'clock, about 20 minutes. I'm just going to kind of hang out off stream tonight. I'm trying to get in some of his lobbies and draft against him in PPR. Thank you guys for coming out. If you haven't already, hit that like button for me. It really helps out. I will not be back tomorrow. Saturday night's the one night that I take off. We'll be back Sunday. Don't know what I'm going to do Sunday yet. I'm either going to draft some eliminators or we might dip our toes into the sprint. I was looking into the sprint setup the other night. I don't know if any of you guys are into the sprint. You can tell me your thoughts in the comments real quick before we leave. But I kind of like the concept, just advance out of your pod. It's a huge final because it goes over all 3 weeks. But, hey, get your teams into the playoffs and hopefully you have some nice team stacks that do really well over those 3 weeks and you can get paid off pretty nice. I don't know. We'll see. Either sprints or eliminators on Sunday. Maybe one of each. Who knows? But thank you guys for coming out. BBG will be on at 10 with some Superflex if y'all want to go over there and hang with him or try to hop in some of his drafts. Have a good night.